Hello students, welcome to Shorap's classes. So in today's video, we will be solving a few questions from past year solutions from economics. So in today's video, first we'll start with a question. So in this question it is given, suppose the borders of a state B coincide with the circumference of a circle of radius r greater than 0. Now its population is distributed uniformly within its border so that the proportion of population living within some region B is simply the proportion of the state's total landmass contained in that region. Now with total population normalized to 1 for any resident B, the cost of travelling a distance d is kd with k is greater than 0. Now every resident of B is endowed with an income of 10 and is willing to spend up to this amount to consume 1 unit of good. Now G, which is imported from outside the state at zero transport cost, the finance minister of B has imposed an entry tax at the rate 100% on shipments of G brought into B. Thus a unit of G costs P1 plus T inside the border of capital B but can be purchased for just P outside. So here P1 plus T is less than 10. An individual resident of B have to decide whether to travel beyond its border to consume the good or to purchase it inside the state. Now individuals can travel anywhere to shop and consume but have to return to their place of the origin afterward. So now what we have to do, first of all we have to find out the proportion of population of B which will evade the entry tax by shopping outside the state. Now in the second option it is given, find the social welfare maximizing tax rate. Also find the necessary and sufficient condition for it to be identical to the revenue maximizing tax rate. And finally in option C it is given, assume that the revenue maximizing tax rate is initially positive and find the elasticity of tax revenue with respect to external price of G, and supposing that the finance minister always chooses the revenue maximizing tax rate. So we have these three options out of which we need to do the right answer. So for this, first we'll start with the question 3a. So in question 3a, first of all we know that an individual located at a distance r minus d hat from the center of B will be indifferent between, so an individual located at distance, an individual located at distance r minus d hat from the center of capital B will be indifferent between buying from inside and outside, from buying between from inside and outside if P1 plus T equals to P plus 2k d hat, or equivalently consumer located at d hat to be equals to pt divided by 2k distance inside the boundary is indifferent between inside the boundary is basically indifferent between buying from inside and outside the region. So now therefore the proportion of people who will buy from outside the circular region equals, so the proportion of people who buy from outside the circular region basically equals 1 minus pi r minus d hat whole square divided by pi r square, or equals to 1 minus r minus d hat square divided by r square. Now if you write b hat, then we know in this question, given the tax rate, so given the tax rate T, the social welfare of B is given. Given the tax rate T, the social welfare of B is given. So the social welfare of B is basically given. Now by the sum of welfare of people buying from outside the state plus the welfare of the people buying from inside the state and the government's tax revenue will be, so B is given by what? By the sum of welfare of the people buying from outside the state plus the welfare of the people buying from inside the state and government tax revenue is basically integration of x equals to 0 d hat 2 pi r minus x divided by pi r square 10 minus p minus 2kx dx. So here it will be plus profit r minus d hat square divided by pi r square 10 minus p, where d hat is basically pb divided by 2k. Now by differentiating this whole equation with respect to t, now by differentiating this with respect to t, we get the FOC as 2 pi r minus d hat whole square divided by pi r square, and there will be another term which is pt. now sorry, there won't be, PT will come later. Now it will be there won't be this as well, so it will be r minus d hat divided by pi r square, 10 minus p minus 2k d hat p by 2k minus 2 pi r minus d hat divided by pi r square, 10 minus p by 2k equals to 0. Now the above holds only when d hat is equals to 0 or d hat is this in the case of welfare maximization, sorry, this in the case of welfare minimization, and this in the case of welfare maximization. So now what we can do is, therefore the social welfare maximizing tax rate is the social welfare maximizing tax rate is basically small t equals to kd hat by p, which will be equals to 0. Now to find tax revenue maximizing, tax revenue maximizing tax rate, we'll first write the expression for tax revenue. We first write the expression for tax revenue. So the expression will be PT pi r minus d hat whole square divided by pi r square, which will be equals to 2k d hat pi r minus d hat square divided by pi r square. How do we get it? Because we know d hat equals to pt by 2k Now what we can do is, now we can find the revenue maximizing small t is equivalent to finding revenue maximizing d hat. Now maximizing above, we get the value of d hat to be equals to small r by 3. So now hence the revenue maximizing tax rate, we'll find it to be hence tax rate is basically equals to t equals to 2rk divided by t equals to 2rk by 3p. So it will be like this. So now what we can do is, we can simply write it. Therefore, the necessary and sufficient condition for revenue maximizing tax rate to be the same as welfare maximizing tax rate is k equals to 0. So what we have to remember is that therefore the necessary and sufficient condition for revenue maximizing tax rate to the same as welfare maximizing tax rate is equals to k equals to 0. So now in the C portion what we can do is now from B we know that the revenue maximizing tax rate is basically how much revenue maximizing tax rate is T equals to 2RK divided by 3P, and the revenue is given as PTR minus PT divided by 2K whole square divided by R square. So therefore the optimum revenue will be what? Therefore revenue will be 4K by 9. So therefore the optimal revenue will be 4K by 9. So therefore the elasticity of tax revenue with respect to P will be equals to 0. So what we have to remember, that is the elasticity of tax revenue with respect to P will be equals to 0. So in today's video we solved a question from past year MSQE solution. I hope you guys have understood it. So if you still have any query or doubt regarding this question, you can simply WhatsApp me on this number, which is 9836793076, or you can also go to our website, which is www.showropsersclasses.com. There you will find a lot of other videos like this, and you will also get to see a lot of other materials like this which are needed for different entrance exam. So thank you for watching this video and have a nice day ahead.